Hey guys, my name is John, and today we're going to talk about modals. For those of you who've used dialogues in your workbot or have heard of modals before, modals are like dialogues, but on steroids. For those of you who are new to workbot or haven't heard of Slack dialogues, modals are like pop-up forms that your bot can open, and typically it's a way for your bot to collect structured information from users. If you're familiar with dialogues, you'll know that once a dialogue is opened, that's it. No more updating it. It's basically a single one layer form. You can open it, collect info, and close it. End of story. Modals, on the other hand, are dynamic. With interactive components found in a modal, you can update the view or even push a new view on top. With Workato, you can even open a new view once an existing view is submitted or closed. When we're talking about modals, we are actually talking about modal views. Modal views can stack on top of each other, up to a maximum of 3 views at any one time. Views are made out of blocks, yes, those same ones from BlockKit, so they're really easy to build because they're modular and they can be chock full of interactive components like buttons, date pickers, dynamic menus, overflow menus, the list goes on. And on Workato, you'll have complete control over how your form looks like. You can even preview the modal you've built using the BlockKit preview button, which brings up Slack's BlockKit builder. While it's true that modals are built using blocks, there are also new types of blocks that are modals only, and they're called input blocks. Like their name suggests, they are blocks that collect user input. Now that we've got a sense of what modals is, let's talk about what it means to support modals on Workbot. Modals primarily works with the bot command recipe, aka recipes with a new command trigger. But you can also use the new shortcut trigger to open a modal. To open, update, or push modal views, we have a new action. First, set whether you want to update, push, or open a new modal. Trigger IDs are something that every modal action type requires. You can get them from the bot command or shortcut data trees. Next, build a view you want using blocks. And finally, you need to configure the submit view section. This part is optional if you're not using any input blocks in your view. The main part about configuring the modal submission is deciding which command to invoke next. If you're using input blocks in your view, the submit view section needs to be configured. If you're not using any input blocks in your modal view, you can opt to skip the submit view part. To update a modal, you would also need to specify a view ID. This should be the ID of the view you intend to update. If the bot command was invoked from a modal view, then information about that view can be found in the bot command data tree under modals. There are some things to be aware of when working with modals. There are specific entry points from which you can interact with modals. Although modals work primarily with bot commands, the commands themselves still need to be invoked using slash commands, shortcuts, or interactive components. In modals, both interactive components and submit buttons can invoke bot commands, but only submit buttons can pass values collected from input blocks to the downstream bot command recipe. Interactive components don't have any visibility over the input blocks and cannot pass the values in them, even if they're on the same view. And because modals can be stacked thrice, there can be up to 3 view IDs, namely the root view ID, the previous view ID, and the view ID. If view ID is the ID of the view from which the command was invoked, then the previous view ID is the view directly underneath that. The root view ID is simply the bottommost view in the stack. With two views, then the previous view ID is the root view. And so the root view ID would be identical to the previous view ID. And if there's only one view, then the previous view ID would be blank, since there's no other view underneath. But the view ID and the root view ID would be identical. One last thing to note. Submitting a view closes a modal view, so be careful. When updating a view, take care not to supply a view ID of a modal that was just submitted or closed, since that modal view doesn't exist anymore. Likewise, when pushing a view, take care not to supply the trigger ID from a view that was submitted or closed. And that's it for this video. Join me next time as I take you through a custom workbot I built using modals and shortcuts. In it, I'll go through certain features like the super powerful repeat block group and dynamic menus. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found this video useful, please like and subscribe to the Workato channel for more videos about Workato and Workbot. See you guys next time.